let's bring it. I see a veteran up in here, man. MJ. Let's bring in my good friend, man. How you doing, brother? I know you got a lot to say about the scam. I know you
What
got
up,
a lot.
man? That's his name, Dorman Scam. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth, bro. I hate to tell you. I'm gonna be honest with you, Dan.
Tell me, bro.
As a Laker, you guys gotta stop thinking of mediocre.
Got these poppers going crazy.
The dude,
I'm the man.
now y'all got on one channel, they say the players are trash.
I sent your girl a message.
On his one
see
channel.
you when I can.
He's talking about you right now. The locker room.
She sent me one back.
He said all the
but
players
I ain't
are
never
trash.
read it. Cause pussy's only pussy and I get it when I need it.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, Big Tone. I had to fall back from your boy, man, the locker room, man.
Man, I went out tell you, I've been telling you, nigga, you ain't want to listen.
Nah, it's not that I didn't.
That boy is a
Yo,
two-way player, bro. He's the
a
only nigga.
two-way player.
He's a two-way player, bro. He's the only nigga that keep LeBron picture up no matter what
Two-way
he talking
player.
about.
Yo, Big Tone,
Running
the
through the
dude was
six
talking.
with
Like, my
my
thing
walls.
is, anytime you beat him in a debate, he always got a condescending narrative,
Money, you know how it
like,
goes.
oh, you guys don't know basketball and all of this shit. So I'm like, all right, well, debate me then. He like, oh, nobody debates. We just fans. Our debates don't matter. And I'm like, so why the fuck you got a show called The Smoke Show? Like, it's just too much of moving the goalposts for me. And it's like, I just did basketball talk. I ain't talk about none of the extra corny shit he was doing, but just basketball talk. When it came down to basketball content, I was whooping his ass. And he got disrespectful. He got disrespectful to somebody on my panel, so I stopped fuck with him. You know how I know it was bad? He came all the way. He came to my Facebook. Like, I never seen nobody go from like sorting somebody out on Facebook from YouTube.
Shut your bitch ass
Like,
up.
bruh, I went to his page. He kept calling. He kept putting my picture. I said, yo, you keep putting my picture up.
He like to make my soundbite part of the show. I never seen nothing like this, where somebody that's a different blogger on a different thing takes your soundbite and DJs your shit. Like, he's like a fucking DJ.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, folks. We are back. We are back, folks. We got to get into it, man. We got to get into it. Cade Cunningham, folks. You know, it's funny, man. You know, we did a show some months ago at this point. And you know, it was just something that I was thinking about one day randomly, and I was just like, yo, the narratives that are out about Luka Doncic, folks, they're just completely false, right? Now, you tune into, you know, the mainstream media or whatever the case is, folks, and these guys are running around talking about, you know, this dude's a top 3 player in the NBA. And I'm just like, bro, what are we talking about? Like, seriously, like, what are we saying here? Top 3 player? So I did a show and I basically said the dude isn't even a top 20 player, right? We got a lot of pushback, obviously, from the fanboys. You know, everybody was, you know, pretty upset that I would even make such a claim. But when you actually started to kind of break it down and you kind of take away, you know, the flopping and the foul baiting, folks, and you kind of just focus on real ethical hoopers, you quickly realize, like, oh, wait a second. The dude really isn't as good as the media hypes him up to be. Right? He's extremely overrated if we're talking about, you know, the way the mainstream media talks about this dude. Okay? So, Cade Cunningham, folks, this dude right now is playing unbelievable basketball, right? The Detroit Pistons, if I'm not mistaken, folks, have the #1 record in the Eastern Conference. To me, he should be a front runner for the MVP award this season. I don't know who the GM is of the Detroit Pistons, but they should be in the conversation for general manager of the year as well, folks, because the way that they've constructed this team, right? And we don't talk a lot about the Pistons, but the way the Pistons have been constructed, folks, we got to give a lot of credit to their GM. I don't know who the GM is, but shout out to whoever's running that team because they've done an amazing job with the way they've constructed that roster. I told you guys, I watch a lot of their games. And the one thing that I do like about the Pistons and Cade Cunningham, folks, there's not that many whites on that roster. I've told you guys this, okay? Now, when we talk about the Lakers, for example, you want to know what my biggest gripe is with the Los Angeles Lakers, folks? There's too many whites. That's my biggest gripe, right? There's just way too many whites on this roster. 8 whites, 7, 8 whites. I mean, what are we doing here, right? You look at the Detroit Pistons, folks. There's one white, and that would be Jimmy Neutron, a.k.a. Duncan Robinson. He's the only white that really sees any significant minutes on that roster. That's a real basketball team, okay? What the Lakers are doing, having 8, 9 white dudes, no, man. The Lakers, no. The Lakers suck. Okay? So that's one of the reasons why I like Detroit. You know, they have a real basketball team. Like I said, when I was growing up, folks, when I was watching the NBA, you know, I believe my era of the NBA is the best era. You know, the era that I grew up in. You know, the 2000s, the 2010s, to me, that was the best era of the NBA, right? And back in my day, folks, you'd be hard-pressed to find more than 2 white guys on a roster, all right? These days, you tune into an NBA game, like I said, the Lakers in particular, you got 7, 8 white dudes on a roster. I mean, what's going on here, right? The league is completely cooked. It's completely cooked. And this is part of the reason why I don't really take it seriously anymore, right? Because it's clear they're trying to gentrify the league. It's clear they're going in a, different direction with a lot of these teams. It's just absolutely insane what's going on, right? And we've been one of the platforms that have been extremely vocal about what's going on in the NBA. Obviously, people call me a hater. They call me all kinds of things when I speak up and speak out about these things. But as you guys can see, NBA players feel the exact same way that I do, right? They just, can't really be as vocal, right? Because they're, they're on the roster, they're on the team, and it's a political job, right? That's why we saw Kevin Durant the other day basically get exposed for having, multiple burner accounts where he's basically talking shit about everybody that's in the league pretty much, right? This is why. They can't really come out and say how they really feel, but we can, right? And I think a lot of players would agree with me. Now, Cade Cunningham, ladies and gentlemen, he spoke out about Luka Doncic. Now, I've been very vocal about Luka Doncic. Like I said, when he was in Dallas, I didn't really watch him like that. I could probably count on, one hand how many times I would watch him during a season. It wasn't that many, right? He's not a player that I really particularly cared about. I just was never a big fan of his. He was all right to me, but once again, he was never a player that I really cared about, right? Well, that all changed, folks, when this dirty geezer, Rob Pelinka, decided he was going to bring him to my team. All right? Now I'm being basically forced to watch a player that I particularly don't care about, right? So that's what I've been dealing with for the last year. I've been forced basically to watch Luka Doncic play basketball when I'm not even interested in this, okay? I'm not interested in this in the slightest, okay? He could have stayed in Dallas for all I would have cared. In all honesty, I don't care about him, but that's just me, right? Now, why don't I care about him? Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, right? To me, he doesn't play an ethical style of basketball, okay? That would be my biggest gripe with Luka. He plays a brand of basketball that I believe is destroying the very fabric of what this league was built on. To me, he's one of the front runners for why the NBA is in a decline. And it's going to be in a decline as soon as LeBron James steps away from the sport because of players like Luka Doncic. Now, I wish personally that, I could have grown up in this era. in all honesty. Because when I was growing up, folks, you know, we didn't even think to play this way, right? This wasn't even thought about when I was growing up 15, 20 years ago, right? When I was playing AAU, when I was playing rec ball, church league, whatever, folks, I didn't think to walk onto the court, right? I didn't think to start foul baiting. I didn't think to drive the ball and lean into defenders, right? Oh, hey! You know, I didn't think to do what Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic do. This wasn't even thought about 15, 20 years ago, right? We're in a completely different era now of basketball in general. And the Europeans, folks, they have completely destroyed this game. They've destroyed it. You can even see in this photo right here, folks, this was the playoffs last year. Now, I was obviously talking about what was going on this show, but I would also go on Twitter. That's why I saw this photo. Somebody actually recorded or screenshotted this photo, and they posted it on Twitter. I said, I got to take this and put this on the show because other people are noticing this nonsense too. It wasn't just me. Now, as you guys can see in this photo, folks, this is what you call unethical basketball, right? You have Luka Doncic literally leaning into Rudy Gobert at a 70-degree angle, right? Attempting to draw a foul. Now, we got to give credit to Chris Finch and the Timberwolves coaching staff because they had this dude's game plan down to a T. They knew what he was going to do before he even did it. And you want to know what they did, folks? They drew up a game plan and they executed it to perfection. You can even see Rudy Gobert. He knows what Luka is trying to do because as you can see, Rudy Gobert, he's leaning back. He's leaning back because he already knows that this flopper, this disgusting excuse of a basketball player, this scam artist, because that's really what he is. He's a scam artist. He's a Slovakian scam artist. He's a Slovakian scam artist, folks. He is scamming us. This is a strategy for him, right? He knows, wait a second, they're going to give me hundreds of millions of dollars if I just keep flopping and foul baiting and scoring all these fake, points. He's going to just continue to do that. He's milking the system. He's milking the NBA, and nobody wants to speak out about it. Here, I tune in to First Take today on YouTube. I see a clip. Stephen A. Smith is over here crying about something LeBron said on his podcast. Why do you think this clown is transitioning into politics? Folks, you want to know why? Because they don't know how to cover anything else. There's so many problems in the NBA that we could be talking about. There's so many things going on that we could be discussing. But all these clowns want to do is suck LeBron's dick every day. And if they're not talking about LeBron, they basically don't even want to cover the sport anymore. No, there are so many issues plaguing our sport today. And one of the issues is these European motherfuckers. But obviously, they're white, right? So Stephen A. Smith is going to stay away. He's going to stay away. You guys saw what happened with Jordan the other day, right? I don't know if you guys saw Stephen A. Smith's response to it, but he defended Michael Jordan after we saw Michael Jordan grabbing that little white boy's booty. That clown Stephen A. Smith got up on his little show and he defended Michael Jordan. Let that would have been LeBron James, though. Let that would have been LeBron James, seen on camera, groping some little white boy's booty. Stephen A. Smith would have had a field day. So like I said, folks, back to Luka Doncic. This dude, I've grown honestly to hate this dude. Like, at first, it was like, okay, I don't really care about him. But ever since he came to the Lakers, I've grown to actually dislike him a whole lot. I don't like him at all. I really don't. And like I said, it's because of the way he plays the game. It's disgusting to me. And if you would have told me 15 years ago that this is where the game would be at 15 years later, I'd have said, man, hell no, that's insane. I'd be like, wait a second, you're telling me that dudes would literally come onto the court and just start foul baiting to get to the free throw line? I would say no. That's ridiculous. That wouldn't happen, folks. Under Adam Silver's watch, it's happened. It's disgusting, right? This dude literally, him and his butt buddy Austin Reeves, folks. Austin, he's a Timu Luka. He does the same thing. They literally come onto the court to foul bait and to flop. You want to know why? Because they suck. That's why. I told you guys this a long time ago. I said if you take away the free throws from Luka Doncic, he's D'Angelo Russell. Niggas thought I was trolling. No, I'm not trolling. I'm being honest with you guys. Remember 2-3 years ago when D'Lo was on the Lakers and he averaged 18 and 6 for the Lakers? He had a really good season for us a couple years ago. He averaged 18 points and 6 assists in the regular season. And then I think he shot 42% that year. Set a franchise record for the Lakers in three-pointers made, right? This was what, 2024? Folks, that's what Luka Doncic would be without free throws. He'd be a white D'Angelo Russell. He'd average about 18 points per game. The free throws are what puts his scoring average in the high 20s, low 30s. It's the free throws. So if you take away his foul baiting tactics and his nonsense, his BS, he'd be D'Lo. He'd be Russell Westbrook. This is the reality, folks. This is why I don't like him. We got CPA Joe with the $2 super chat. He says the Americans are clapping back. We got Hilltop Shaq. You said Reeves gets cooked by Mike Conley, but gets a deal. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in, folks. Y'all do me a favor and drop a like on the video. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in. Shout out to DC Rue. We got Jay in the chat. You said guys be hating on Luka. 90% of the NBA says he's got the deepest bag of the league.
Shut your bitch ass up.
Okay, shout to this clown Brandon. We got this clown Brandon in the chat, folks. Now, Brandon is a guy that says our show is dead and, you know, he doesn't listen to us, but he's in the chat. That's funny.
He averaged 4 points a game at USC, shot 36%. He doesn't have an NBA body, so you can't defend Bronny, so your little pussy ass hides behind race, and you call me racist because you can't make an argument based on the merits because you're a fucking clown.
Okay, so let's stop right there.
Shut your bitch ass up.
So, shout out to Marvin. We got Brando. You say, glad you popped back on YouTube. Luka's still a stat padding flopper. Shout out to Tony in the chat. Shout out to Stylin, Titus. What's going on, man? Folks, y'all do me a favor and drop a like on the video. Shout out to Constellar in the building. We got Velvet Vision. What's going on, man? So yeah, shout out to the crazy dude. Folks, the whole league sees what's going on, right? Now, we're going to get into what Cade Cunningham had to say right now. Obviously, he's not going to say Luka's name by name because I told you guys, it's a political thing, right? When you're in the NBA, you're the face of a franchise, right? You're basically like a politician. You know, you gotta, you know, move accordingly. So, you know, you can't just be calling guys out, calling other players out, stuff like that. But, you know, they call these people out very subtly. And that's what happened with Cade Cunningham. He called Luka out very subtly. Let me show you guys what he said about this stat padding, flopping clown, Luka Dookie. This Slovakian scam artist that's scamming the NBA so he can go buy another Bugatti. Okay, so the Dunk Central folks, they posted this on their page about an hour ago. So I guess Cade Cunningham, He did an interview with GQ magazine, right? So they said Cade Cunningham says foul baiting is the biggest problem in the NBA and accuses 3 superstars in the top 5 through 10 of doing it. Once again, we all know who he's talking about. Now, are there other guys that are in the, top 10 that foul bait? Sure. I would probably say, I don't know if Jalen Brunson is a top 10 player. I don't know if I would put him in the top 10. But I know Jalen Brunson's a guy that people accuse of, foul baiting. I know SGA is another guy that people accuse of foul baiting. I would say he's definitely a top 10 player for sure. So maybe he's talking about SGA and Luka, but I know for a fact he's for sure talking about Luka, without a doubt. Without a doubt, he's talking about Luka Doncic. All right? There's no doubt in my mind about that. So he says, quote, "The flopping is just too much. What do you do with your best players that do it? Question mark. 3 of the top 5, 10 guys in the NBA are doing it constantly. You gonna kick them out the game?" So Cade Cunningham, folks, he's gotten to the point where he wants to see you dudes kicked up out the league.
LeBron fans.
Got me on a late night mission, pulling up.
Yo, chat. Cade Cunningham, he's gotten to the point where he wants to see you dudes completely up out of the league. Thank you. That's why I say I like Cade, man. I like Cade. I do. I like this dude, man. He's a real hooper. None of that crying stuff, none of that flopping, none of that foul baiting. Just pure ethical hoops, man. I like Cade, man. I do. Cade, listen, I know we've been talking about who's going to be that next face of the league when LeBron is done. Listen, Cade is making his claim, folks, that he could be one of the guys. I don't know. He could be one of the guys. Now, I did say that the face of the league has to be black. I did say that. You need to be a nigger and you need to have 4C hair. That's what I did say, right? If you want to be the face of the league, right? Because if you think about it, Kobe, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, right? What do they all have in common, folks? They're all niggers, right? So I made the argument the other night. I said, if you want to be the face of the NBA, one of the requirements is you have to be black. You have to be black. You have to have 4C hair, right? So I said one of the guys that could do it is Anthony Edwards. He fits the bill. Now, here's why I say Cade might be able to sneak his way in, right? Even though he's a red bone ass nigga, the one thing that he does have on his side, folks, is he does have nigga hair. He does. Now, I don't know what texture that is, right? But those are nigga naps. That's what I do know. Those are nigger naps, folks. You see his hair. So Cade actually, you know what, Cade, we can sneak you in. We can sneak you in. You're a little bit light, but you do have nigger hair. So we can sneak you in, buddy. We can make it work with you. It's kind of the same with Steph Curry, right? Even though he's a red bone, he still got those nigga naps. So we're still able to
LeBron fans.
Got me on a late night mission, pulling up.
That's why Steph was able to sneak in there, right? Even though he was a yellow nigga, you still got that nigger hair. So it's okay, right? But you can't be a yellow nigger and you got that curly stuff. No, that's not gonna work. You can't be the face of our sport with that. It just is what it is. But Cade, like I said, we could probably sneak you through the back door. So yeah, let's continue on though. Cade Cunningham believes he's the best player in the NBA, and he doesn't get the foul calls he deserves when certain superstars in the league constantly flop. So let's just start right here. Cade Cunningham believes he's the best player in the NBA. Folks, I've got no problems with him believing that. In all honesty, number 1 pick in the draft. I've got no problems with him. His team's the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference, one of the best records in the NBA. If he believes that he's the best player in the NBA, I have no problems with that. I told you guys before, The dude is clearly, a candidate for the MVP award, right? And yeah, I personally do believe he's having one of the best seasons of anybody in the league this year. He's flying under the radar, and the reason why is because the mainstream media is completely lazy. They don't want to talk about Cade Cunningham. For what reason, I don't know, right? Maybe Detroit is not a sexy enough market. It's not a sexy enough storyline. I don't know, right? Well, actually, I do know. All the mainstream media wants to talk about is LeBron James. And if they can't talk about LeBron James, they want to transition into politics. That's it. That's why you see Stephen A. Smith talking about to run for president. Once LeBron is done, all the LeBron grifters will transition into politics. It's actually insane because they don't want to talk about anything else. Okay, cool. So this is Cade Cunningham, quote, "I thought it was really cool that people started appreciating my game in that way. I'm like, man, I know I'm better than yada, yada, yada," he says, not naming any names. "But I don't get the same respect from the refs. I'm not getting the same foul calls. So people feel like this guy might be better than me, and he's nowhere near better than me. Or like I should have 50 this game. Or we should have won this game by 10, but we're not getting the foul calls. I'm beating myself up over it. Then I start seeing people appreciate my game. Like, man, this guy's so pure. People complimenting the purity of your game, I think it's one of the best compliments I've ever got." So let's just stop it right there, folks. I agree with Cade Cunningham 1,000% because he's exactly right. And Jaylen Brown has spoken out about this as well. It's clear to me that certain guys in the NBA get a certain whistle, and other guys don't get the same whistle. We saw Jaylen Brown about a month or so ago. He went off on the referees after a game. I believe it was when they played the Spurs. He went off saying, yo, I'm a superstar in this league, whatever the case is, and I don't get any free throws? How is this possible? And then you turn on the TV and you see guys like Luka, and before you can even sit down to turn the game on, Luka's already at the free throw line. So it's clear certain guys get certain whistles, right? Cade Cunningham is like, yo, I'm one of the best players in the game. I'm driving to the rim. I'm attacking the basket. But yet I don't get the same whistle that a guy like Luka gets. And then people will tell Cade like, yo, bro, the reason why you don't get those same whistles as a Luka is because you're a pure player. You don't do the things that Luka does. Even Jaylen Brown spoke out about it. Jaylen Brown was on a stream, I believe it was with DDG or somebody like that. I can't remember who it was. And he was saying how for him to get the same free throws, he would basically have to sell his soul and start doing things that go against the way he was brought up playing the game of basketball. See, this is what y'all don't realize. This is why I tell you, I do not like Luka or Austin Reeves at all. I can't stand these dudes. I hate them. And the reason why I hate them is because if you actually watch them play and you see the things that they're willing to do to get to the free throw line, folks, it's actually disgusting. Like, seriously. I mean, we've seen Austin Reeves, folks, literally throw ass to get to the free throw line. He's literally out there twerking to get to the free throw line. Let me show you this one video of Aston. Look at this dude. Look at this dude, chat. He's putting ass on cock. You guys aren't paying attention. He's putting ass on cock. Right? See, the difference between a guy like Cade Cunningham, a guy like Jaylen Brown, whatever, right? Versus like a Luka and an Austin Reeves. What Luka and Austin Reeves do, folks, is they initiate the contact, as you guys can see by this photo. This is not a basketball move. This is not a basketball move, folks. Luka has to initiate contact. Cade Cunningham, Jaylen Brown, LeBron, guys that play ethical basketball, these guys, when they get fouled, it's because they're legitimately getting fouled. Luka and Reeves, when they get fouled, it's because they're the ones initiating contact. It's two completely different things. And once you start to see what they do, and once you start to kind of pay attention to it, and once your third eye gets opened, you can't unsee it. You can't unsee it. So once again, when I say it, right? Oh, you're a racist. Oh, you're a hater. Oh, you just don't like the white boys. Well, what about when Jaylen Brown says it? He's in the NBA. He sees what's going on. He's right there. He's inside of. He's in it. Is he a racist too? What about when Cade Cunningham says it? What is Cade? So Cade's a racist too, right? Because he just said he wants y'all niggas up out the league, basically. No, y'all want us to go for a brand of basketball that is completely unethical and it's just not good. It's not a good product. And that's part of the reason why the NBA is going downhill. FNP, I don't know who you are, dude. But yeah, I guess you're just gonna have to come back on your other account, dude. Nobody's a fan of Luka and his style of play. All right, white boy. Okay? We don't gotta root for Luka just because you do. All right, nigger? Take care, white boy. Now, like I said, folks, let's get back into this article, though. So this is Cade Cunningham. He says the referees have to get involved because we're baiting people into fouls all the time. The flopping is just too much. What do you do with your best players that do it? 3 of the top 5-10 guys in the league are constantly doing it. You gonna kick them out the game? But some people are better than others. He concedes with a wry smile. I can't sell a foul for nothing. There's a skill to it for sure. Folks, other NBA players are speaking out about this stuff. All right? We've been one of the most, vocal platforms about what's going on in today's NBA. You guys have ushered in these European players, these foreign players, right? And we've lowered the standard for them to be able to compete. Why? Because they're just simply not good enough. Like I said, if you took away the flopping from Luka Doncic, he would be a D'Angelo Russell kind of a player. 18 points per game. What puts him at quote-unquote superstar level, because that's what y'all think, is the free throws. And it's the flopping. It's just that simple. And the NBA, Adam Silver, it doesn't look like they want to do anything about this. That's what it seems like to me. Phone lines are open, folks. If it were up to me, I would hold a meeting. If I'm Adam Silver, I would hold a meeting with all the referees. I would show them footage of Luka Doncic and the things that he does. And I would tell them, yo, listen, we're not giving him this foul anymore. We're not giving him this anymore. You know it's a problem when other players are speaking up about it. Like I said, when I was growing up, folks, you didn't hear things like this. You know, I mean, like I said, I grew up, 2000s, 2010s era. That was my era. You didn't hear guys complaining about other guys foul baiting and how much of a problem it is. These were conversations we didn't have 15 years ago because it was an ethical game. But now when you want to invite all these white boys in who literally can't play with us, and then you want to lower the bar so that they can, stat pad and, rob the NBA for hundreds of millions of dollars, yeah, other players are going to not be happy about it, especially when they're better and not getting the same whistle. Uh-oh. We got Constellar in the chat. He says, Denny Atvia is Jewish, just like Adam Silver. Look at who is top 2 in free throw attempts. It's Luka then Atvia. No way Silver will knock off his Jewish friend's best skill set, which is foul baiting. I don't know what's going on, Constellar. But there's clear something's not right. It's clear something's not right. That's obvious. Now, like I said, when I say it, because I'm usually the first ones to kind of speak up and speak out about certain things. So when I first started saying it, oh, you're racist, you're a hater, you're this, you're that. But now you're starting to see players come out. Jaylen Brown, I think, was the first one to speak out about it. Now we're seeing Cade Cunningham come out and speak out about it. Oh, now it's starting to become a thing now. Pretty soon this conversation is going to make its way onto the national media. Pretty soon. Like I said, folks, I truly, if I could go back in time, I wish that I could have been born in this era. I would have been a flopping, boy, I would have flopped for 4 quarters, boy. I would have fouled. If I was playing basketball right now, oh my God. Oh my God. Listen, to all the little nigglets out there. I hope you're listening. To all the little nigglets, still coming up, 13, 14, 15. Listen, if you want to go to a D1 college, if you want to, have a good chance of making it, playing professional basketball, just follow Luka. Just follow Luka. Just be a stat padding flopper. Just go out there and just seek out fouls. That's it. That's all you got to do. Seek out fouls and work on your 3-ball. You'll be good. You're going to average at least 20 doing that. You're going to average at least 20 if you just do that. If you foul bait and flop and you got a decent 3-ball, you're going to average at least 20. But like I said, when we were growing up, folks, we didn't even think to do that stuff. We didn't even think to play like that. That wasn't even a thing when I was growing up. Nobody thought to come on the court and just flop. Oh! Hey! Hey, ref, it's a foul! I'm him! I'm him!
Shut your bitch ass up!
Now you got these white frauds out here talking, I'm him! I'm him! You got these white frauds on the court tomorrow. I'm him. I'm
him. Shut your bitch ass up.
That is insane. That's where the game is went, folks. It's all about flopping and pretending like you're good. You put on a leg sleeve, you grab a headband, and then you just go out on the court and you just flop, Hey! It's a foul! That's the game now.
LeBron fans.
Gonna have me on a late night mission, pulling up.
Folks, I would have never thought this is where the game was headed. But this is where we are now. And the ethical hoopers, the ethical NBA fans, folks, we're just tired. We're tired of pandering to you guys. Because I tried it for like a year. I'm not going to lie. Right? I never liked Austin Reeves. I always thought he was just a clown to me. You know, he just never fit the bill. He just didn't look right to me out there. Ever since he was a rookie, I just was like, what is he doing here? You know? But I remember when I first started my first season of, you know, really covering the Lakers full time, I tried to, like, you know, act like I was cool with it. And then we got to the conference finals, and I just can't, ever since then, I just can't fake it anymore. I just can't fake like I respect the dude. I just don't. I just can't. He sucks to me. And I think other NBA players, folks, I mean, we saw Jimmy Butler spaz out on that white dude from Brooklyn. Other NBA players, folks, they can't contain it anymore. They can't contain their disgust for these white dudes anymore. They just can't contain it.
But obviously you have the Jimmy Butler calling me white boy, and
Spencer vacates the area. Butler makes his move. Fend off, and he puts it in. +1. Jimmy Butler with a chance for 3.
then Cade, I think a few games later, telling me how bad of a miss I had.
Thankful that shot didn't count. Wolf just absolutely bricks a 3. Then almost took out Kevin Durant in the process. It reached off the glass into his face. Kevin just said something.
Both went extremely viral on social media, and I knew the Jimmy one was going to go viral. Like, I'm just like, he had a tough bucket on me, and then he's just yelling and pointing at me and calling. To my knowledge, calling me white boy, and like, there's not much I can say back to that. Like, I really, first of all, it's like my 10th game in the league. Got scored on by a really good player, and then he's just calling me white boy. Like, I can't say much back to him. And like, I think once I get my footing in the league, but maybe a little bit better and improve myself more, I think that's when I can. But I mean, shit, there's not much to say to that. And then the KD one, I think it was, it was a horrible miss. And I didn't know till after the game. I heard him talking to me like,
nah, I was right there.
I heard him talking like, that's a bad miss, Wolf. And I didn't know that it hit him in the face.
Folks, I would personally say the biggest problems with the NBA today, there's 2 problems, right? The foul baiting and the flopping is out of control. And I would also say the gentrification of the NBA. The gentrification of the NBA is just, it's just pathetic. You know? These dudes just can't play. I mean, you just saw the dude. He literally shot a ball so bad, it ricochets off the backboard and hits Kevin Durant in his head. You white dudes are going to get somebody hurt out here, man. Somebody's going to die fucking with you.
LeBron fans.
Me on a late night mission, pulling up.
Folks, y'all, these dudes out here, they're gonna get somebody hurt, man. He could have taken KD's head off with that miss. And you guys think this is a game. This is not funny. These dudes are gonna hurt somebody. He damn near decapitated Kevin Durant with that miss. Dude shot the ball so bad, he missed the whole rim. The ball ricochets off the backboard, and hits Kevin Durant in his head. This is how garbage you dudes are. And then when I get up on the show and I say it, it's like, it's what? It's offensive to you? Well, guess what? We're offended that y'all are even on the court with us. That's what's offensive. That's what's offensive. Why do you think Jimmy Butler spazzed on him? Jimmy Butler's like, wait a second, you putting this guy on me? Y'all are disrespecting me. Why do you guys think? Okay, let me ask you guys a question. You guys know, like, when they leave Draymond open, right? Like, let's just say you're watching the Warriors play, and the other team is just leaving Draymond wide open, and then Draymond starts making some shots. Why do you think Draymond starts spazzing the way he does? Why do you think he gets so amped up the way that he does? Because it's disrespectful to do that. It's disrespectful to leave a player wide open. So obviously when he makes a shot, he's going to be amped up. He's going to get animated because he feels disrespected. That's how Jimmy Butler probably felt when Brooklyn decided they were going to put him on Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's like, wait a second. Y'all really going to put this white boy on me? He felt disrespected. This is how we feel this is how other players feel when they see Austin Reeves on the floor. Jamal Murray felt disrespected. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope felt disrespected. Bruce Brown felt disrespected. Aaron Gordon felt disrespected. Michael Porter Jr. felt disrespected when they see that you're going to put him on the floor. But when I get up on the show and say it, oh, you're just hating on the white boy. No. The white boy don't belong. And that's why we keep losing. But it seems like y'all are more worried about the little white boy getting his points than you are about us winning. And that is where I get offended and disgusted. Because now it seems like with the Laker fan base, you guys care more about Austin Reeves getting a meaningless 20 points and Luka getting a meaningless 30 points than you actually care about winning. And the only reason you guys feel this way is because these dudes are white. Because if they were black, like D'Lo, like Russell Westbrook, y'all would be saying to trade them. But because they're white, y'all want to pay them $200 million. It's disgusting. So like I said, folks, that's really all I got on this one. Shout out to Cade Cunningham for telling the truth about Luka Doncic and the rest of the NBA. This stuff is out of control. It's pathetic. These dudes are scamming our league for hundreds of millions of dollars, and this is who they'd rather pay. They would rather give Luka $300-400 million, and he's a stat padding flopper. They would rather give him the money. They would rather give Reeves the money than to pay my GOAT. They talking about my GOAT got to play for a veteran minimum contract. They talking about my GOAT next year got to play on a vet minimum deal. I'd rather LeBron James retire than to watch LeBron James play on a vet minimum deal. And you got guys like Luka Doncic out here making $50-60 million, and all they do is stat pad and flop. I'd rather LeBron James just retire than to see him play on a minimum deal. Straight up. If no team is out there that's going to pay you what you deserve, which is $50-60 million a year, just go ahead and retire and hang it up. I don't want to see LeBron on no veteran minimum contract. That is disrespectful. You got niggas like Devin Booker just signed for $75 million a season, and he ain't never did nothing in the NBA but put up some fake numbers. Ain't never won nothing, ain't never did nothing but pad his numbers but he can get $75 million a season, but my GOAT got to play for a vet minimum contract? What kind of disrespect are we talking about, folks? This is that racism that I be telling y'all about. And then these same people will watch the racism going on, and then when I call it out, right, then they want to come to my channel and call me the racist. Make it make sense. In what world is Austin Reeves worth more than LeBron James? In what world? Maybe on Mars he'd be worth more than LeBron, but not on planet Earth. But you telling me you're going to pay Austin Reeves $30 million next season, but my GOAT got to play for $2 million? Nigga, please. If I'm LeBron James, listen, if ain't nobody going to pay me, I'm out. Straight up. If y'all ain't, you got Brian Windhorst talking about Cleveland would welcome him back, but he'd have to take a veteran minimum. Nigga, please, you better trade Jared Allen. You better trade one of them bigs y'all got. Somebody got to go. What you talking about? Hey, we ain't playing for no veteran minimum salary. What are you talking about? They think they gonna get the GOAT for a discount for pennies on the dollar. Nigga, please. Nigga, please. Why would LeBron do that? Why would LeBron pay for a veteran minimum? LeBron could leave the NBA, go on a tour by himself, right? And literally make more money than that. I'm telling you, man, this stuff, I mean, the racism is insane, folks. They want my GOAT to take a pay cut so these white frauds can get paid. Fuck out of here. I'm out, folks.
Tell me that was you saying the 96 Sonics. This is what you got to realize, Judah. It's very easy to out-debate locker room. It's not very challenging whatsoever. The fact that you let locker room outwit you and out-debate you, it says a lot. We're not talking about a very high-level basketball mind, and you got outwitted by the locker room.
Ticket TV, he calls LeBron James fans jockstrap sniffers. So this is for you guys. If you're watching, shout out to all the LeBron James jockstrap sniffers. This is for you.
Of all of the people that we talk about, LeBron fans are the only ones that even message me and contact me on Instagram. One recently sent me a death threat, talking about you can't come to LA. LeBron fans.
LeBron fans.